Hello everyone, I am the Kremlin Archer. Welcome to Project Zomboid tutorial series, I guess we could call this. I've got some requests in the recent days to do some basic strategy videos and potentially some like how-tos for Project Zomboid. So I'm going to do a little bit of that before I start my next regular series of Project Zomboid. Today I'm going to focus on what I'm calling the first 24 hours. I'm not going to we'll just start with the first week infection. I'm also not going to start with easy or normal because those start with bags and a weapon, and I feel like a lot of what people want to know is things that dealing with starting with nothing, basically. So we're going to do it with hard. Actually, let's do hardcore. It starts with nothing. Sort of the Zomboid classic, if you will. I'm not going to talk about talent trees very much at all, really. Actually, I'm just going to skip over them because that's like a whole video into itself, and I don't really want to get into it on this one. This one's more about basic strategy. So I will talk about the map selection. So your two options are Muldrow and West Point. And I would suggest as a new player to start with Muldrow, simply because it's more spread out, buildings are further apart, there's less chance for clumping of zombies. West Point is a much more urban, as small towns go anyways, a much more urban setting, which means that it has a tendency to get much higher concentrations of hordes of zombies. I actually like West Point better, but as a new character, or a new player, I would suggest starting out in Muldrow. It's just a little bit easier, I think. Your character doesn't matter. I'm not even going to bother naming her. I will, however, put her in pants, because no survivor of mine starts a game in a skirt. Alright, so this is we're just going to skip real quickly past this, the talent selections, because there's a whole video in talent selection stuff, so we're just going to go super basic. We'll go construction worker. We need negative. We need 2 points to spend. So, we'll take hypochondriac. Actually, slow reader. You need to have at least 0 or positive points to start. Do I have anything saved? Oh, I do have one saved. All right, I could have just done that. All right. So, things to think about when you start a new game. Once you're familiar with the maps, where you are is important, but that's not going to help you in your first couple of times through the game. But the first thing you need to think about is food, water. Actually, food is not less important. The first things you need are water, bags, and some sort of weapon. Those are your first 3 tactics. Those are the first 3 major important things. You can survive for a while without food. So you start, the important piece of information to know is that the first house you start in, we got really lucky here, is always zombie free. There will never be unless they break in while you're hanging around, there will never be zombies in your first house. So we got a duffel bag first, which is an excellent bag. It is not the best bag ever. The best bag ever is the big hiking bag. But we got a duffel bag, which is good. If you can see here, it says, I'm going to just pause this here so we don't run the time down. So the important information is weight, capacity, and weight reduction. So the weight is how much it weighs. Capacity is how much weight, quote unquote, it can carry, up to 18. But that's 18 with a 65% weight reduction on items. So a 10-pound item would only weigh 4.5 pounds. I think that's how that goes. But it's not really pounds, it's just like weight units. So don't worry about that too much. But so you want to put this, in order to use bags, you want to put them on your back. Well, your first bag should always go on your back. Some bags can't go on your back. We should probably take these sheets as well, which I will explain later. It's also always important to have a few ripped sheets in your inventory, because if you get cut or are bleeding or what have you, you need to have the ability to... Why did I end up with so many? What are you ripping up? I think I accidentally ripped up some extra stuff. Yeah, I was ripping those sheets up. Oops. Oh well. if you're cut, you need to have the ability to staunch the bleeding, and that requires things. Books are important. Look for anything, especially in the beginning, look for anything that it says beginner, which we don't have right there, so we'll just skip it for now. Make sure to check everywhere. If you're not planning on staying in a house, but you want sheets, you can remove the curtains, and they become sheets for some reason. See? Come on. Go that way. Alright. So, and then now that we have some basics, the next option that we need is a normal hiking bag. See, we've already found a better bag than what we had. A normal hiking bag, you can see, has capacity of 20 instead of 18 and a weight reduction of 70 instead of 65. So we'll pull this in here, and then we'll, you have to unequip the bag you're currently wearing, which we probably should have taken the sheets out first, but then we can equip this one on our back. And you can carry you can carry up to 3 bags if you don't want to carry a weapon. So like we can carry this as a secondary, which goes in our offhand, which you can see over here, which will allow us to get the duffel bag, get the sheets out of the duffel bag, and put them in the other bag. I would recommend most bags that have, what am I trying to say? Most of the bags that are particular, most of the weapons that are useful are most useful carried in 2 hands. So I usually try not to have a secondary. I'll keep a secondary bag in my inventory in case I need the extra stuff, but I won't keep it equipped until. All right, so now we're in a kitchen. Kitchens are probably the biggest bounty you'll find. And so for the things that you need to know, you're going to need a can opener. Well, you actually don't need one. Late game, you're going to need a can opener. Non-perishables are good, like chips. The rest of these are, that's for drying things off, that's for cooking. These are less useful bags. These bags cannot be put on your back. Tea bag is for cooking. Spoons are a last resort weapon. Frying pan is what I'm going to take here. I'm going to equip this as secondary. This is going to be our starter weapon. I, generally speaking, like frying pans. Some people don't. I like frying pans as a starter weapon because they have a little bit of knockback to them. I'm actually going to take a second one. If you can, not always, it's usually a good idea to have backup weapons. So a can opener is obviously used for canned goods. Canned goods are not super important early on because there's lots of other things to eat. But if you play super late game, if you survive that long, it'll get there. Let's just eat this pie, right? And so we found a water bottle. We have checked off all 3 of our most important things. We have found water. We have found a bag, and we have found a weapon. It's not a great weapon. In order to drink your water, this is something that throws a lot of new players. I'm just going to take all of this, by the way. So you can just drag a box if you want. You can also hold down the shift key and select multiple things. I'm going to take it all. Come on. There you go. A water bottle, the way you drink out of water bottles is automatic. So you just have to have a bottle with water in it in your inventory, and it'll drink out of it. I was very confused with that when I first started playing this game. I was like, I can't drink out of the water. Why can't I drink out of the water? Let's take these painkillers. If you ever want to just end it all, just die and end it all, bleach. You can drink some bleach. Otherwise, some of these are used for crafting. Others are just flavor text as a thing. So we got all that. So early on, I stick to perishable foods. Anything that has, that's going to go bad is what I start with in terms of eating. Also, we've got a moodle. These little things that pop up here are called moodles. Most of them are negative. This one happens to be positive. It's the fed bonus, short healing and strength boost. You'll see other ones pop up. I'll talk about them as they come. So now we're out on the street, which means that you need to start being watchful for zombies, like that one right there. And so in order to be sort of sneaking, quote unquote, and also attack, you have to go into sort of this secondary mode. You can hold down the right mouse button, it puts you in there, See, it lets you swing now. I also have mine rebound to spacebar, aim. And I have this melee thing, which I'll talk about in a second, is a Z, which is excellent. It helps you preserve your weapons, especially in the early game when you don't have very many weapons. It's very good. So, dealing with zombies. This is a sneaking motion, which makes you less likely to be heard. If you run, they'll hear you easily. If you walk right in front of their face, they usually see you. If you notice there's like a light cone, you see how that, watch this zombie fade out? That's because I can't see her. And there she's back. It's as if you're living in the real world where you don't know what's behind you. You have an idea, and over time it becomes less accurate. So we walk up and we just whack her. Hope the G falls down like that. And then I use the melee button, which is that Z key. Or I don't know what it is. That's a rebinding. I'm not actually sure what it is off automatically. I rebound my keys ages ago to fit how I wanted to play. So that's how that works. But I would recommend, especially early on when you don't have a lot of weapons, to use the melee if you can after you've hit somebody. Because stomping them with your foot doesn't damage your weapon. Also, there's an important idea of... oh, we're right near Cortland Medical. This is a good place for holding up. Don't... What's I going to say? Don't try to take on more than 2 zombies in the very early game. That door's unlocked. If doors aren't unlocked, if you hit the E key or select open window, your character will attempt to open windows. Sometimes they're locked, sometimes they're not. You can also smash a window to get in. If you do, farming magazine. More food. Let's eat this corn dog, huh? Get some uncooked food. If you eat uncooked food, you can get sick. It's just like the real world. You get sick. Alright, let's take this peanut butter. Take a water bottle. Cabbage seeds. This is for farming, which you'll hopefully do if you survive long enough. TV is on, so I'm going to turn this TV off, which you do under this device options. Turn off the TV. They make noise, they attract zombies. You gotta be careful when you're in any house but the one you started in, because there can be zombies hiding in all kinds of weird little nooks and crannies. So yeah, so don't take on more than 2 zombies at a time in the early game until you're comfortable. It's tempting to just go after them, but it's a bad idea. It's also important to note that the longer you keep in this mode before you... Up to a maximum, obviously, but the longer you stay in this mode before you swing, it sort of ramps up the damage. Think of it kind of like deciding where you're going to hit. You're just sort of like getting ready. So we've got a little food market right here, which I'm going to try and get into after I deal with this guy. So now that we've got our main tasks completed, right? We've got food, we've got water, we've got why are all the doors unlocked? Most of the doors shouldn't be unlocked. I think it's because I'm in this game mode. I just eat. Food is relatively plentiful in the early game, and a lot of it is perishable, so as I'm walking by, I will oftentimes just eat random things. That's a habit you have to kind of stop as you get into the late game and stuff starts going bad. So now we have our basic needs figured out. The next task is going to be to try and find... This is all food, right? Yep. Try to find a place to stay. A safe house. Which I'm going to pick this place right here, Cortland Medical. It's a good spot. It's always been a place that I made my home on many occasions. Stomp on him, please. Oh no! Oh, and we get to show you what a crawler is. So that's a crawler. you saw that lunge attack that he did, right when he was sort of triggered. That thing hits really easily. The way you deal with the crawler is to try to get around behind it, and then whack it. If you get in front of it, you'll get lunged at. Oh, the zombie saw us. Yeah, crawlers are dangerous. It's part of a reason why, if you're dealing with groups, it's a good idea to always sort of back away from the group, because if you walk across a zombie that you thought was dead, it might turn out to not actually be dead. It might just be a crawler. And then bad things happen. I'm also zooming, I suppose I should mention that. I'm zooming the image in and out using the mouse wheel. I feel like most people would probably figure that out on their own, but in case you don't, that's how you do that. Just use my mouse wheel. Alright. So before you choose, if you're choosing a safe house, like I have decided that this is going to be my safe house here, it's important to get the basic area cleaned out around it, or else there'll just be zombies breaking in your windows, and nobody wants that. So I'm just going to do before I go into Cortland Medical, we're just going to do a quick lap. So I want to show you how to deal with 2 zombies at once. So you've ended up with 2 zombies at once, right? Come here, dude. Hey, come here. The Q key, by the way, there we go, will make you yell, which is useful for like corralling zombies together. Alright, so you've got 2 zombies on you at once. Here's the tactic I like to use. I call it the stomp and push. You can kind of, if you can knock one down. Oh, that didn't help at all. Well, that didn't help at all. I needed him to stay up. I needed him to stay alive a little while. You sort of hit one, and you try to get one on the ground, and then you knock the other one over and such, but it didn't work out so well. These are some other moodles that have popped up here. We've got Unpleasantly Hot. That's going to make you get thirsty faster. I actually think it also makes you get tired faster, even though it doesn't say it. And Panic is up here. Panic is an important one to understand. Panic will happen when you're near zombies. Let's see if I can get it to go up a little bit. No, it's not going to go up. Zombies will trigger your panic to go up. Kind of makes sense. And it makes you get tired faster. It reduces your ability to aim properly. It reduces your damage too, I think. It could be an incorrect statement. So this is cleaning a house. This is like clearing a house. You sort of go room by room. I usually try not to do too much in the way of looting when I'm clearing, until I'm sure the house is clear, because that's a good way to get killed, is to be busy emptying drawers and a zombie comes up behind you. If you've decided someplace is going to be a safe house, you need to black out all the windows, because zombies will see you through the windows. This place is all medical supplies, by the way, which I'll talk about in a second. Yeah, and so that's just there. Yep. Alright, we'll go upstairs. Try to go floor by floor, clean up the downstairs before you go upstairs. The worst thing you want is to have is to come back downstairs after having thought you cleared it out, or cleared out the upstairs, and suddenly there's zombies everywhere. Alright, so nothing in here. Close the curtains. I hear a zombie. Nobody's home, though. Alright. So we got most of the windows except for this one. This one is basically impossible to get. I'm not actually sure even how it got broken. But, alright, so now I can show you why we were saving all of those sheets. And then our main inventory, you can't use most things, you can't really use unless they're in your main inventory. And then you can add sheet. They're just makeshift curtains. We should check out that noise. Be very conscious of the noise in this game. That's one of my big tips, is that noise will tell you what's going on. So we're 1 sheet short. Yep, 1 sheet short. I tried to play oh, there they are. That's who was making noise. Zombies will clump together too, by the way, as you may have noticed there. So that's the stomp and push. Z key, the one that's letting me stomp, if somebody gets close, will actually also push away, like that. And so that's how I handle two. That's my general way of handling 2 zombies at once in the early game when you don't have very good weapons. All right. You can also sprint, which you saw me do there for a second. The shift key, I believe, I have a default. You know, like most games, shift is sprint. All right, so we've got a house that's moderately defendable. And this will be where we make our stand. So we need to make sure that the immediate vicinity is zombie-free. So we'll deal with this guy. Come on. Come on. There you go. You see that splatter, that pop and splatter? That's when a zombie dies, when it's over with. So that's how you know they're dead. Also, if you're using a regular weapon, they'll switch to like swinging into the air or attacking the space in front of them instead of the ground. Alright, so now that you've got a home base, you have to be careful. You want to be quiet, you don't want to make too much noise. But generally speaking, it's probably you're probably in a good spot. Don't be afraid to abandon ship. That's one of the things that a lot of people aren't willing to do, which gets them killed. Is that if you're going to stay in, if you've chosen a safe house and it starts to get overrun, just bug out, man. Don't force it. All right, so let's talk. I'll probably wrap it up here pretty quickly, but let's talk a little bit about infection. When you get hurt, it gets over here. I might do an episode just about injuries in a bit, but you need to disinfect your bandages, or else you might get an infection, which is not good. It makes things... It's bad. It's just generally bad. Also, fill your water bottle on the regular side. So you want to have some sort of disinfectant. So that in here, obviously, we've got... Since we're not a medical facility, we've got lots of disinfectant. Whiskey can also be used to disinfect things because of the high alcohol content. So just as a recap, what you need to remember when you're starting the game is your priorities of finding weapons or finding things is water, a bag, and a weapon. Those 3 are basically all the same priority. It needs to be found quickly and efficiently. And then food. You'll probably come across food while you're doing that. But food is slightly less important because you can survive for several days without food. Without water, you're kind of boned. Without a bag, you can't carry much. And without a weapon, you're going to get eaten by zombies pretty quickly. Then keep clear. Like, don't pick fights that you're not going to be able to win. So stay away from zombies. Don't go towards them. No more than 2 zombies at a time until you're comfortable and you have a decent weapon. By a decent weapon, I mean a baseball bat or an axe or a hammer could possibly do it, but they've got really slow reach, like low reach. They don't stretch very far. Things like that. Frying pan, not so much. Frying pan's a good starter weapon. Also, rolling pins. Golf clubs have a lot of reach, but they're not, and they're real fast to swing, but they don't have very much damage at all. I don't really like them. They break real easy too. And then find a safe house. Stay off the roads as much as you can. Behind houses, I often walk behind houses, but in the early game, it usually doesn't matter too much. And that's probably it for the most part. You just try and just be careful. Always slow and steady is how I play this game. Rushing in will get you killed. Is the moral of the story with Project Zomboid. And so I think that's it for now. Enjoy the game. You survived. Hopefully you survived your first 24 hours. I suppose I should also say sleep. Once you've got a nice safe place to sleep, you can sleep. Get you to morning. The TVs, radios will also have little broadcasts on occasionally. In a later video, I'll talk more about like the skills trees and all that kind of stuff. But that's the most basic strategies to stay alive. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks so much.